Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of the TV is Our Real Mom podcast. I'm your host, Dave, and as always, joined by my co host, my sister, Katie. Katie, what's happening?
I'm feeling pretty bummed that
Uh,
my winter pick is gone.
yeah,
Way faster than I thought he would be gone. Yeah, we're losing some. This is rivaling the Game Changers, boot order with I mean, they're not returning players, but like we're losing good players pre-merge. It's weird.
yeah, but I mean, it's like a stacked cast, kind of,
That's true.
you still have all these players on the board that are not only like potentially good players, but also like big
Right.
characters. So,
You're not
yeah,
left with Troyzans and Culpeppers. You're left with
yeah,
good.
I really don't feel that way. I mean,
No,
I
I mean I
feel
don't feel the wet that way either. It's just it sucks. It hurts to lose these guys, but it's probably going to feel that way from here on out. Except when we lose Bradley and Kellyn, which will be good.
yeah, I mean, James though, really like, is he really such like this like epic game player? Like he had a
No, but he was my winner pick.
yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. That's like the only reason you could really. He had a
And I
good
think people were impressed with his strategy when he was able to do it. I feel like maybe that tribe should have gone to another tribal council and they could have really solidified their numbers. You know what I mean?
oh the tribe he was on before the swap,
Yeah, the second Navidi. Like
right? Yeah,
yeah,
if
you know
he
what I
would
mean.
have been able to trim some more fat, is what you're saying, to like
Yeah,
tighten things up. I guess I don't know.
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I mean. Yeah, James had like one good episode, I feel like, and that sort of made him emerge as like, okay, this guy could be fun to watch. Like he definitely has a smart he's remember his IQ is a squiggle. Like he's insanely smart. So it
Yeah.
would have been fun to see him use that brain a little bit more, but unfortunately
He
he's
seems so
gone.
nice. He just
Yeah.
seems like a nice guy.
Oh man, I loved his face though when he got blindsided. That like
It killed me.
oh, that slow turn when he's like realizing he's like
Oh man, yeah, that
it's
was
beautiful.
rough.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, as rough as as it is for a nice guy like that, it was pretty good stuff.
He went out kind of in a Michaela kind of way. So and he had a Michaela kind of reaction. So maybe he'll come back. I don't know.
I don't see it.
He's
I'm
not the
gonna say
same personality, sure,
I'm gonna
but
say no. No return for James.
I don't
Sorry.
know.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
never
know.
know. You never know who they're gonna bring back. But
You
anyways,
really never know.
let's talk about Michael and his decision to vote.
Yeah, okay, I appreciate how the edits are like misdirecting us, but it would be nice to get a little background as to what went down because we have no clue. Like,
Right.
is Michael tighter with Kellyn and Desiree than we have been led to believe? Like, we got nothing. It was a blindside to us as much as it was to James, and maybe that's the reaction they wanted, but I want to know what happened there. Because to
Right.
me, Kellyn's pitch to Angela was real weak. And I did not think she was gonna go for it.
Oh yeah, like when they're on the beach and she's like
Yeah, she's
real
like,
half.
let me sum up for you what
Okay.
Kellyn said.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, so me and Desiree are like really tight and we need one more person to vote with us. So if you could go ahead and do that, that would be great. That was
Yeah.
basically
It was very like desperate and
yeah.
needy, and it did kind of remind me of the uh Lumberg thing. Yeah, if you could go ahead and just vote with us, that'd be
It
great.
would not have
Thanks.
convinced me. It would have annoyed me, but that's me. I don't know what happened. Like we got no info as to what really happened.
Right. As far as the Michael side of things, I think production intentionally left that out because it would have been too obvious that James was that's his name, right? James. I already forgot his
James,
name.
yes.
James was going home. See how fast we forget these
I
people?
didn't
Like
forget him.
how fast I forget these people when they
Yeah,
get voted
okay.
out of the game. I already forgot about James. Who is that guy again?
The
Anyways,
guy that got voted out last night, whose
yeah.
reaction you loved.
Yeah, almost forgot his name though. Anyways,
Terrible.
um, yeah, the reason we didn't get any of that behind the scenes stuff was because it would have been too obvious that James was going home. Um, because I think my thought is basically Kellyn cut a deal with Michael, maybe even leaving Desiree out of it. So I have this theory, and this is like fan fiction probably, but it's kind of fun to think about. So I
Hmm.
have this theory that Kellyn went to Michael and she was like, "Listen, it's not you tonight. So why don't you just vote with us and prove your loyalty with this vote? And guess what? Guess what I'll do next time? If we lose again, I'll actually vote out Desiree
Angela. Oh,
because
really?
I know you guys are going for Desiree next time or this time. Why don't you just wait? We'll get her next time. You can get out James, and you'll make the next two votes."
Yeah, but if
And
Desiree ever gets wind of that, you think she'd pick Angela over Desiree? She's been with Desiree the whole time.
yeah, I don't know. It's a weird theory.
Okay.
I
I'm
mean, it
sure
probably
something
has
like
no.
that happened, and Michael at this point is just trying to buy one more day. That's how it's been for him. He's hanging on by the skin of his teeth, and he's just trying to get to the merge. I don't know if he makes it to the merge, how he's set up, because they haven't shown us if Kellyn and him have a long-term deal or if it's just until the merge. I was really frustrated at the end of last night's episode, not just because I lost my winner pick, but because I'm just worried. I'm really worried that it's going to be just purple knocking out all the Malolos, and I don't like that very much.
Yeah, I don't remember if I said it on the podcast or not, but I definitely predicted that's what was going to happen this season. I don't know
You
if
mean
it.
that you think it's going to continue? Donathan, Laura, Libby, um, who else is
Yeah, I
Malolo?
basically said the Navidi people were going to be dominating this season, and it was going to be basically a pagani.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I mean, at least
I
we
think that's where
have
it's going.
the Dominic and Chris feud though. Like I think that might break people up a little bit, and
Right. And that's why Michael is actually in a really good spot because I
if
feel
he
like,
makes it past the next tribal council.
which I think he will. I honestly think he cut a deal with Kellyn.
Okay.
Like they're going to cut either Angela or Desiree before him. He's basically ingratiated himself into their good graces. That's
Mm,
probably redundant.
that's okay.
He's ingratiated himself. But yeah, so anyway, he's in a really good spot because I think he'll be the last Malolo standing based on his relationships he's formed with
I don't
Navidi.
know about that. I don't know. I feel like he's too threatening. I can really see people just forgetting about Donathan, and he's just
Oh, God, yeah, I
there. And
forgot about Donathan. Yeah,
yeah,
so basically him and Donathan will be there when it comes time for Navidi to eat each other alive. And
yeah.
so they'll float a little farther on that train.
Well, you've got interesting factions. I don't think that if they're so gung ho about the original Naviti, I don't think Seabass was originally with Bradley and Kellyn. He was with Chris. And now he's got Jenna. So you've got that little group. You've got Wendell and Dominic that who will come back together, and they've probably got Laurel and probably Donathan. You have these little factions. I don't know if Bradley's antics continue like they look like they will continue in the preview for next week, if Dominic's going to want to stick with him, especially if he does something bad, you know? So I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to convince myself that this isn't how it's going to go. But I was shocked that Angela decided to stick with Original Purple, her tribe that she was with for 6 days. You know, I mean, I felt like that was she maybe, I would like to know her reasoning for sticking with them.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that she voted for James too. I mean, it sure seemed like
Yeah.
he got through to her. So I don't
Yeah,
get it.
in those two pitches, she seemed eager to hear what James had to say, wanting to listen, and she wasn't into what Kellyn was saying, at least in what they showed us. So maybe they secured Michael and they went up to Angela and they were like, look, we have Michael, so you might as well just vote with us.
I guess, yeah, because if Michael said, "Hey, I'm gonna vote for James," there's no point in her going against the grain at that point. And I wouldn't
No.
be surprised if Michael just told her that too.
Or Michael, yeah.
He's like, "Listen, don't tell James, but I'm voting for him, so you might as well just do the same."
Mhm.
I'm guessing that's basically what it came down to. Is like James, like, "Hey," or not James. Michael was like, "Hey, I'm voting James." So
That would make sense. I mean, somehow word got around. We
yeah,
just don't know exactly how.
there seems to be a pattern emerging here of like the people who go home. It's like you get their deepest character story moments right as they go out the door. That's what they did with James tonight, just like
Yeah.
Stephanie last week. It's like you get James's story of like was he from Korea? Is that right? Or his
He
parents?
lived in Korea for a time. I don't think his parents are Korean. Yes.
Right. And like he said, he had to adapt to that like
Mhm.
sort of culture or growing up coming from a different culture in America. And you get a nice deep sense of his challenges he's faced in his life and who he is as a person. And then bye James.
Right. I
Same
don't
thing
think
with
we
me.
got that from Morgan or Brendan, but perhaps from here on out, it'll
Yeah,
be
but I
something.
think we got a lot of story from Jacob early
Nothing
on.
from Gonzalez.
Yeah, I guess not. So you have like 3 out of the 5 people. Is there
6. So like 50% of the time.
Okay, yeah, maybe there isn't a pattern then. I don't
Well,
think you can call that a pattern. All right, fine.
something that happens, but
Oh,
maybe,
well, pattern in the last 2 weeks. There you go. How about that?
yeah, because you're getting more connected to the characters now and you want to know about them before they get voted out. But next week, if I see, you know, Wendell suddenly like sharing his life story, then I'm going to be like, well, there goes my second backup winner pick.
I don't think Navidi has to worry. I mean, like, just look at the fact that each of those tribes had a 3-2 setup for Navidi versus Malolo. I think now that this first vote with the 3 tribes has gone the way it has, the other 2 tribes will probably follow suit and be like, "Hey, look, they stuck strong Navidi. We'll just do the same thing and we'll be good at the merge." So I wouldn't be surprised if you end up seeing that.
So you think that Dominic and they have Dominic and
Chelsea.
Chelsea and Bradley are going to vote together?
Yes.
Even though
Other
Donathan's there and Donathan's been with Dominic, they'll just vote out Libby. Yeah,
Yeah. No,
they'll vote
yeah,
out
he
Libby.
says Libby's dangerous.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
the this whole actually Libby very well could be the person who goes home next week. And
There's
that's why
your spoiler. There's your
yeah.
prediction.
I
If
mean,
that tribe loses,
well, I think the whole Bradley stuff in the preview too is probably just a misdirect like, oh, it's not going to be Libby. Like Libby is the setup this week to be teed off next week and Bradley's the misdirect.
yeah. So
Sorry to spoil
I'm already like raging thinking of what he does that's so bad that makes Donathan rage, and I'm already pre-raging for Donathan because of Bradley.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's such a wiener, man.
Oh, could you believe it? When he walks back into Navita, he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe the squalor we've been living in." It's like, oh my god, dude, you need to be slapped upside the head. You weren't living in squalor. Shut up.
Yeah, I finally figured out what annoys me about the way he talks too. It's like it's
Mm.
that he doesn't open his mouth all the way. He kind of just talks like this without moving his mouth. I don't.
Oh,
Right
I
there.
I think I'm actually playing a pretty fantastic game.
Yeah, or maybe I'm playing a better game than I thought. No, right. I can't do it. He kind of like cocks it to the side a little bit and doesn't open his mouth very far. Anyways. Yeah. I thought that was a weird thing he said when he was like, it kind of revealed that he is actually playing a character. Like he's not authentically an arrogant asshole because he's
I think
obviously
there's
got
a
a lot.
bit of authenticity there.
Well, he's obviously got a lot of self doubt because like the first natural reaction he had was, I'm playing a better game than I thought I would. And he's like, wait. And then he corrects himself and gets back
Mm,
into character and he's like, oh, I knew I'd play a good game. Like it was a strange moment. I'm glad they put
maybe.
it in because
Hmm.
it shows kind of like Bradley's struggle. Inside, he's doubting himself, and on the outside, he's putting on this front of the arrogant douche. Although I'm sure you have a point that he's probably authentically a douche as well.
You can't be that big of a douche. I mean, at least the whining about the conditions, that seems legitimate, and that's annoying.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard not to whine out there, but I think it's something you really have to keep an eye on because that's like, I think that's one of the most common complaints you hear about people in general
Hmm.
when people complain about other people is like, well, that's funny that's like a snake eating its tail thing.
Okay.
People
Where were you
complaining
going
about
with that?
people complaining about other people complaining is what I was saying. That's one of the
It's
most
still a form of complaining.
it's a form of complaining. Yeah, but anyways, my point was
People
that's
are
something
allowed to be annoyed by an annoying person.
that's just something you hear a lot is like, oh, I hate when people complain, or I hate that guy always complains. It annoys the hell out of me.
You know, if I want to say something slightly in Bradley's defense, which I don't, but I will, um, it must have been like harder over there because when Chelsea got over to Navidi and she had that coffee, like she started crying. So like it couldn't have been that great.
No,
But that's
yeah.
just because they always lost and they didn't have any rewards.
Yeah, that was very strange that Chelsea, like, her game changed because of coffee. Like,
Did her game change or did we just get to see something from her when she drank coffee?
well, like, why did they put it in there? Like, they're basically
Because
saying,
she's
like,
gonna win.
she's gonna flip it into a new gear. And I mean, I'm not saying she's gonna win. I'm just saying, like, she's obviously gonna, like, turn a corner or something.
I hope
Otherwise,
so.
they wouldn't even put that in there. Other than my only thought is, like, maybe they just thought it was really funny, which that's
She was
possible.
crying. You
Well,
know, it
that
was
like
funny.
coffee made her cry, and that it was so
I would
great.
probably react in a similar way because coffee is just a comfort. You have it every morning, not everybody, but like I have it every morning and it just makes you feel human and alive and to actually taste it or smell it even after 17 days of not would be pretty emotional. I
Right,
would.
but like you said, it reminds you of home, and that's the point they kind of drove home. There was that it reminded her of home. That's
Yeah.
what kind of why she was crying. Okay.
Yeah, I get really like people are all bitching about how there's so much crying, but it's like who cares? Like these people are playing a game and it's not easy out there. They're allowed to like have an emotion now and again. It just deal with it. They're humans.
Yeah, I thought there was crying every season. This doesn't seem
There
like
is. I don't know
this
why
doesn't
people
seem
are
like
suddenly
any
like, "Oh, what's with all the crying?" I'm like, "Dude, people always cry on this show. That's the way it is."
right. And I think if I remember right, the Exile Island seasons definitely feature more crying. Like
Yeah, when Candace got exiled every time on Cook Islands, she would cry.
yeah, I just think it's like when you get by yourself on that island and you're already raw from the nature and the hunger and all that stuff,
Not
and you're
having to
by
like put on a face or put on a show for everyone around you
yeah, you can
to just
finally just let it go.
yeah.
I guess people cry.
But we didn't have that this week any at least not on Ghost Island because
No
there wasn't
crying?
any ghost. No, there was no Ghost Island.
Oh, right. Yeah, what the hell was that?
I don't know. Are
That's
they
stupid.
BB Takeover in? Do you remember the BB Takeover?
No.
Okay, well this was Big Brother 17 and every season has a twist, right?
hmm
So that season the twist was the Big Brother Takeover and every week you would get to hear this announcement. You'd be like, let's get ready for a takeover." And like the third week they just stopped doing it because it wasn't good.
Yeah, like wouldn't that be hilarious if they ditched the Ghost Island concept on a season called Survivor
Survivor
Ghost?
Ghost Island. You just have to call it Survivor.
Yeah, they're like,
And a
and it's
colon
no longer
nothing.
called Ghost Island anymore.
Well, I
Halfway
read an
through the
interview
season.
with Jeff Probst today, and he said that Ghost Island will play a role till the end of the game.
Well, shit. I mean, they got all those urns left.
Yeah, I guess, I appreciate that we got to spend some time with all the tribes and get to know them and see some people we haven't seen that much of. So, and if it was just going to be another waste of a Ghost Island where no one gets to play or whatever, I'm fine with it, skipping a week.
Do we know yet officially, like, um, if people were going in order on the urns, like
Yes.
by direction, or
Yeah.
because they're supposed to?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's like an advent calendar.
Oh, so like production tells them you have to pick that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of lame to me.
Well, it means they have it scheduled when there's a game and when there's not.
Oh, right. So they don't get like 5 idols at the beginning and everyone hangs on to them and
Well,
something
not
like
if
that, I
it's
guess.
game, no game, no game, game, no game. You know what I mean?
I
They
guess.
spread
Yeah.
out the games.
Sure. Um. Yeah. Chris, you want to talk about Chris?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about Chris.
Quite the episode for Chris, man.
As always, he's amazing.
Uh, yeah. Like I definitely see how he could be hated easily.
Oh, yeah. It's fun to
Um,
watch because you're not there having to suffer through him. You get little bits of him that are super entertaining from your couch at home, but if you were out there with him, you wouldn't want any of it.
oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Um, through Chris, we do get to see a good side of Laurel's game, though. Like
Yeah.
Laurel, um, is such a good listener. I mean, it takes a certain type of person to be able to sit and listen to someone like Chris, and you could see his face was like glowing, like because he just felt so like heard by her, you know, like I,
Revealing that he's a model.
right. And I doubt anybody listens to him the way Laurel does, and you could just
Yeah.
tell he was just enjoying that, and I hope that helps Laurel because I felt like I during the episode, I felt like if this tribe went to tribal council, Laurel would be the one to go because of the bonds that were formed between Wendell, Chris, Sebastian, and Jenna. She's sort of the odd one out. So
Jenna's with Seabass.
yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I kind of had the feeling it might be Chris because I think they maybe are just tired of him.
Yeah, maybe.
But I was also impressed with Wendell, how he was like, he was Team Dominic, but now that he's not with Dominic, he can be Team Chris for a while, and he can just easily and smoothly transition. He brought that seashell to Seabass, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Seabass, I got your shell." I don't know. It's just he's just smooth. Like
Yeah, that was
everything looks easy for him.
yeah, the seashell thing was like a genius move because I
Hmm.
think that he totally hooked in Sebastian with that.
Yeah.
I think that might be enough to get someone like Sebastian to not vote you out, honestly.
Honestly, I think you're right. So he knew how to play Seabass, and it worked.
Yeah, like Seabass in his confessional was like he carried that around with him even though it smelled like dead conch. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like enjoying watching, even though it was short, Seabass and Laurel talk because that's something we haven't seen yet. But then Chris is like, "Yeah, I played beach volleyball too." Like, oh, okay, I guess I don't get to hear the rest of this conversation.
Yeah, let's go back to Chris. There's a few there's a few quotes to bring up here. Where to begin? We got the one where he's like, some people just chill, you know, or some people just lay back and don't do anything, but I'm out here playing. Like, and I was like, come on, dude, like you're not the only one like playing the
There's
game. Like
different
in
versions
his
of playing.
well, in his head, he's the only one who's like playing Survivor. But
In
that's a
Chris's head, he's the only one doing anything ever at any given moment.
that's a really good point. Here's another good one. People think models might be self-absorbed or they might be dumb. But that could be a real beneficiary to me
Was
in this tribe.
See, I missed that. Everybody was all over that quote on the Twitter and after the episode, but I apparently missed it. So
Yeah, I mean beneficiary, it's pretty good hashtag right there.
yeah, it's good stuff. I don't think he's dumb, but I do think he falls under the self-absorbed category. Have you seen his Instagram? Lord.
No, of
Although
course
to be
not.
fair, Michael's is quite similar, so I can't really
Well,
knock one and not knock the other.
Michael's 18. I mean, that kid's in big trouble, man. Especially if he goes farther into the season. Like, he is gonna he's gonna fly too close to the sun and crash, man. He's too young for this stuff. It's
Well,
not gonna be good.
everybody says how wise he is, so maybe he'll handle it okay.
I don't know. I don't see it. Because I
Well, yeah,
think
you got all the like female survivors and survivor fans like blah, like drooling all over him, which
that's
is
the
gross because he's 18.
like yeah,
I don't know.
Corinne, what she's doing with him is
Yeah,
like
she's gross. It's like,
it's
sweetie,
gross, man. Let it go. Like, come on.
he's hot, but this is not a good look.
This is not a good look. Yeah, exactly.
Leave him
Uh,
alone.
but
Let him.
that's the thing that I think is going to affect Michael in a bad way is the female side of things. I think these women are going to be throwing themselves at him at 18. He's going to get a big head.
He's
And
probably already gotten some of that if he's been in LA as a model for a while now.
yeah, but this Survivor thing is going to put him in like the fame
Yeah, it's
spotlight.
gonna exponentially increase what's already been going on.
But then Survivor is like a B list, if not C or more like a C or D list celebrity thing. So he's going to get a bigger head than is deserved, and he could very well crash and burn.
It's
I hope not.
possible. I'm going to give him a little more credit than that because I think he's smarter. But then again, when I do see his Instagram, I'm like, oh, so maybe not. I don't know.
I think he's just somebody who's been smart since he was a little kid, and he's sitting there
Probably.
watching Survivor, and
Hmm.
so he's really smart about Survivor. I mean, it's yet to be seen.
If he's smart about life.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you define life success. Because I mean, like he's already at 18, he's already making way more money than I do in real estate
Hmm.
and shit.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how you define it. And I could very well be wrong, but like I just have this bad feeling that Michael might be getting
Well,
himself into trouble with this
there's
Survivor
rumors
thing.
that he's dating Libby, who's a very good Christian girl, so maybe that will ground him a little bit.
So where do these rumors come from? Is it
I don't
like,
know. They come from everywhere. There's also a rumor that Kellyn and Bradley are together too, but I think they're just trolling people
oh, okay.
because
I don't
that's
like,
like the two worst people ever. I mean, it makes sense, but like, gross.
yeah, I don't like to even like look at that stuff because like I was listening to that Corinne podcast with
I didn't
Rob,
listen to that.
and it felt too spoilery because they talked so much.
Spoilery.
Well, they talked so much about like who's hanging out
Oh,
outside
really?
of the show,
Well, that's all Corinne does is socialize and drink with Survivor players.
and that stuff just ruins it because it's like, well, they're hanging out for a reason, and this person's like out partying with survivors because they probably did well. Well, I guess you don't know that, but I don't know. I just
You
don't like
don't know.
looking at this stuff.
I mean, it does make you can't help that your head goes there though. It's like, okay, so did they get close after the season ended? Did they get close at Ponderosa? Did they get close on the pre-jury trip together? Or did they go to the end together? But I remember thinking this in past seasons, but I can't give you a specific example, but it's been someone who I assumed in my head, oh, they must have gone to the end together, but they just become friends after the season ends because it's just seasons are bonded. That's just the way it is. So I don't know that it necessarily means that much. And if Rob would allow it to go on, did he give any kind of like preface or spoiler or anything like that before?
Yep. At the beginning of the
Oh,
pod, yeah. Well, he was like, well, before they started talking about it, he's like, listen, like this might be spoiler territory because like he didn't say that it was for sure. He's saying like some people are sensitive to this, and he was right
so it's
because
just,
I'm sensitive to that
yeah.
stuff, and I should have stopped listening. But like I was doing something else, and it was on, and I didn't feel like going and stopping it, and so then I was like subjected to the potential spoilers, and I was mad about
Well,
it.
so you're not supposed to even go on people's Instagrams because they post tons of photos with people. As soon as someone's voted off, everybody posts a picture of, oh, I love this person and we got so close, and you don't know like how they got close or when they got close, but I don't know. I mean, maybe they should reinstate the social media
I think they should.
blackout.
I think they should. Like it'd be interesting to go back the last couple seasons
Mhm.
that are over with and go through like the timeline, the Instagram timeline, and see if there is a connection. Like, oh, you could clearly see here, like these guys are all hanging. I know for a fact Heroes, Healers, Hustlers had a couple moments like that where it's like, well, look at all these people who are buddies. Like it was Desi and Jess and like Rourke all
Yeah,
hanging
but
out,
they
and you're like,
posted theirs as they got voted out. Like Rourke posted one with Allie once Allie was voted out, and then it just kept building when they each got voted out. It wasn't like they posted it beforehand. So maybe they were more cautious than these people are being. Or maybe
yeah,
this is just a super close cast who all hangs out together and lives in LA together or New York, which a lot of them do.
yeah, it's so funny. They all moved to LA to like become whatever it is
Yeah,
they
even
become.
Bradley lives in LA. I
What's
mean,
he
I
gonna
guess he
do
went to
there?
law school there. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Yeah, that's what always surprises me is like, what are they gonna do? I mean,
Yeah, I know. Because who of the people out there who becomes anything?
well, I mean, I'm talking. I guess they're probably vastly more successful in their careers than I'll ever be. But I'm
All they
talking
have to
about
do is post an advertisement on Instagram with like their tea or their teeth whitening or their clothing box.
right.
And
They're set up for that sort of thing. But I guess yeah, I'm looking at like I'm probably thinking of it more from a perspective of like Hollywood fame and Hollywood
Yeah,
success. Like,
that doesn't work.
but that's not necessarily what they're all looking for. I'm reading too much into it. Like, I
Sure.
heard that Kellyn moved to Denver actually. So
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's yeah. I heard that on that podcast. Kellyn lives in Denver.
I don't care where Kellyn
Right.
lives.
I don't either. I shouldn't. I
But
shouldn't care. Or I
at the
shouldn't be
same,
talking about this. It's awful. It's
yeah.
awful
Sorry,
that
we've
I
gone
even.
back into the gutter, but
Yeah, this
you
is a
know,
bad
it's
place
on the
we're in.
brain. It's on the
It's a
brain.
bad place we're in. Let's get out of here.
Get out
I
and
never want to talk about the Instagram
stop posting your
bullshit.
spoiler shit on Instagram, people. Just stop it.
Just stop it. I like, and even if I just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to think about it, talk about it. Forget about it.
Okay. I just wanted to mention that Kellyn and Bradley dating makes sense, but it's
Okay.
gross.
Back.
That's
yeah.
it.
Let's just focus on the show. You know,
Yeah,
like
let's.
what's happening on the show.
Chris is being Chris.
Yep.
What other
He
moments?
almost cut Sebastian's arm off with a.
Yep.
Literally was that close to cutting his arm off.
Yeah.
He was cutting a stick towards Sebastian's face.
Yeah.
Like, so he is kind of dumb, a little dumb. I'm
okay,
sorry.
there's some dumbness there.
It's not that I haven't enjoyed Chris. He's kind of dumb. Yeah.
Well, that's part of the. I don't think he's super dumb. Maybe he's a little dumb.
He's Coach.
Yeah, and I don't think Coach is dumb.
Coach isn't dumb either. No, he's just self-absorbed.
Yeah. But also self-aware if you listen to his thing last night.
Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely come a long way since season 18, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, why is Dominique so gung-ho about getting Libby out?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Nope.
I think he wants to protect Donathan maybe, and he wants to maybe cover up that they're together, and so he's just selling Libby as someone you can't trust and selling the fact that he's worked with her or been with her, and so he knows her moves where Bradley and Chelsea don't. So I don't know, maybe something like that. So that if they go to tribal council, he can retain his relationship with Donathan without giving away that they're together, really.
Did you believe Bradley when he said he's like excited to be working with Dominic?
Yeah, I feel like the fracture, whatever it was on the original Navidi, that Bradley and Dominic were on the same side of things. So, and Morgan was there, and I think Kellyn, and they must have had Desiree. That must have been the 5 that was together. And then everybody else was with Chris. Angela, Seabass, Chelsea. I'm missing someone. But,
okay.
But anyway, what I didn't understand is how, Chris, when they show Chris, he's not just talking about Dominic, but when they show Dominic, he's always talking about Chris. And now he's so happy to get away from him and blah, 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 blah. So, but Chris is getting a lot more airtime. It's just not all about Dominic. So I don't know what that means, if Dominic's going to get so consumed by his feud with Chris that it's going to eat him alive first, and Chris will outlast him.
That would be an interesting story arc if that's the way it goes. But that's a really good point that, you don't see Chris talking about Dominic anymore. Although Dominic's fears and paranoia are definitely founded in reality, because Chris was gunning for him and gunning for him hard. And it just he didn't ever get the chance. But that's a really good point. Dominic,
I guess Chris did kind of mention it when he went up to Wendell and he was like, "You and I are good. That other guy just got in the way," or something like that.
Yeah, no, he said, "I'm so glad to be off of that beach. Like,
now
I can work with you." You're right.
He said something along those lines.
Yeah.
In Chris Noble language.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the immunity challenge?
I feel like Desiree was the wrong pick for the collar for many reasons.
Thank you. That's like the first.
I could not do it.
Yes, that's the first thing. That's the first thing on my notes about the immunity challenge. I wanted you to say, and you totally did.
Could you if you were listening to that? Granted, they were the first ones to the puzzle, but could you have understood what she was screaming?
Oh no, not at all. It was just the weirdest screams I've ever heard.
Oh my God. And it would have made a lot more sense to have Kellyn do it because Kellyn's the puzzle queen. So like why wouldn't they have Kellyn be the caller? I don't know.
Yeah. Um how about Wendell at the end of it? He's like, "What's up, Probst?" What a douche.
I think he had a really good episode.
Yeah, he definitely let the emotion overtake him in that moment because that was such like a dorky thing to do. What's up,
but
Probst?
he's like he says he plays basketball like 5 times a week, and that's full of like trash talking and stuff like that. So it's probably just that.
Yeah, the hoops came out of him.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
What's up, Probst? I want to say that to Jeff Probst.
Did you notice Angie's face like during every shot of her?
It was the same?
Like, well, it was like shell shock, like she just got back from Vietnam or something. Like it was so ridiculous. She
always has that look on her face, and I was trying to figure out, like, is she surprised by something? Is she uncomfortable, or is that just her face? Oh, I do want to say, I felt so bad for her when she was talking about she didn't know which way to go and how her husband, they got divorced and then her kids left and she's all alone, and I felt really sad for her.
Yeah, like I didn't realize how I had forgotten all that stuff from her preseason interviews with Whittler. Yeah. I had forgotten like how bad of a spot she's in life right now. Yeah. And that kind of explains the like look on her face, like because she's out there playing this game, and like believe me, if I was out there playing, like I'd be in such a stressful mode, I'm sure. Like it's tough to say. Maybe I'd settle in and I'd be able to enjoy myself, but I have to imagine I'd be feeling some extreme anxiety, and I'd probably have that look on my face all the time as well. So like, but yeah, I pile on top of it, having such a change in your life and being in such a low spot outside of the game.
Yeah, I felt really bad for her. Yeah, and I want to root for her now, but I don't know that she made a smart decision. I guess maybe there's stuff we don't know, but I really think maybe she should have gone the other way.
Yeah, it's what's so interesting about Survivor and the characters on the show, like, is how we can go from just like hating them so much. We can go back and forth throughout a season from beginning to end, like loving them and hating them just on a dime, you know, like. Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the season, you hated Angela.
Okay, I hated her preseason discussion.
Yeah,
but on the show, I have to say I haven't hated her.
Right, and then Bradley.
Last night I liked her.
Then Bradley, I'm actually liking Bradley more each week, even though, you know, I still put him in the category of like I want to punch.
You hate him.
I did hate him in that one episode. When he was like standing there in his underwear, like he was holding the immunity, I was like just being like, he was like an arrogant British like nobleman or something. You know what I mean? That's like the vibe he has, and I hated him in that moment. But like, just some of the moments he's having, I'm starting to like him a little bit. I don't know.
We'll see what he does next week. I don't know. I'm super curious what this business is that he's pulling over there.
I don't think it's any one thing, man. I think it's like they're finally doing that super cut that says Bradley's a prick, because he is a prick.
Try not to be a dick.
He can't not be a prick. It's who he is, I think.
Well, he does something that makes Donathan rage inside. So I'm worried about what that is.
Yeah, maybe there's a specific instance, but like I really do think it's going to be that super cut of Bradley saying arrogant things, a variety of arrogant things, and just being a prick, and then that's gonna be your misdirect, like I said. Anyways,
maybe we shall see.
Yeah, what else we got? Catie, do you follow your head, your heart, or your gut?
Okay.
Yeah,
we all know I don't like Kellyn, but. Okay. I saw a quote on Twitter that summed this up perfectly for me. Okay. Yeah. So Probst asks the question, do you follow your head or your heart? James, head. Who else was there?
Everybody. Michael.
Heart, Angela, heart, whatever.
Michael,
and then
heart.
It said Kellyn, here's my PowerPoint presentation. And it's exactly, she's that girl in school who is an overachiever. You're sitting there discussing a book and you're the quiet one and you're just waiting to get up the courage to say one word. And then this bitch next to you goes on and on and on because everything she has to say is so smart and so important and so funny. And it wasn't even the right answer to the question. I mean, there is no right or wrong answer, but I don't know.
Jeff freaking loved it though.
Yeah, because he's Jeff Probst.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, it's no surprise she got cast on the show. Like,
No.
she's obviously cracked the code of what they're looking for. They're looking for people who are able to elaborate in the moment and give them more than just one word answers. They need stuff. They need content for the viewers, and she's figured it out. She gives it to them every time. She's been doing it since the beginning of the season. But like, I totally agree with you. To me, it's super annoying. I totally see it as like teacher's pet to Jeff, like it's overachiever, totally. Kind of annoying. And like, yeah, is so cheesy, right? I mean,
yes. It's just maybe if somebody I like, who is basically I just want to say everyone else on the cast except Bradley and Kellyn. But if somebody I like had said it, maybe I'd be more open to the idea. But no, it was bad. It was annoying. It was stupid.
Right. Okay. Well, you didn't answer my question. Do you lead with your head or your heart?
Oh boy, I'm usually a head person.
Yeah, same here. And that was what most of the people answered. I think everybody but Michael answered head. Michael was like heart.
He's 18. He follows his wiener.
Yeah. He should have given a PowerPoint presentation on that. He's like, some people lead with their head and some people lead with their heart, but I lead with my wiener. And here's why. Sorry.
And here's why. The wiener is a good mix between your head and your heart. No,
yeah, it is. Yeah, totally. Speaking of inappropriate things, Donathan, when he's like, he's all flustered on the beach, and he's just like, we're fucked.
It's like, no. Oh God, I love him. And I love when Probst was like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "We don't have a choice."
Yeah, I was like, "You're not supposed to say that," but okay. You're kind of, yeah. He really is fitting that like the closest you can get to casting an everyday person, like just kind of like your average Joe. Like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. And like, and
yeah, kind of. Yeah,
that's kind of funny. It's kind of turning out pretty well because like you have those moments, but at the same time, you can almost feel him like teetering on the edge of a knife. Like is he gonna like do something weird or like not like crazy, like nothing like malicious, just like, is he gonna like do something that's not good for TV or I don't know. It's just
I'm curious.
Hard to explain.
Like he's waffling. I think he's playing well just by like socially. That's basically all he's playing right now, is just creating bonds with people, because he hasn't had to go to tribal council since I don't even know when. The one where they sent Morgan home, probably. But I'm curious to see how he plays when you have to actually make moves and play.
Right. And yeah, if you're playing to win, that is the way to go. That is the recipe. I mean, focus on the social component early on. Don't worry too much about like making big moves early on. And
right, like Wendell.
Yeah, you'll have your chance. So yeah, I mean, I think Kellyn, you can say that she's playing the same game. She's obviously like she's gonna be that super fan that plays by the book. She's playing a social game. She's
playing a safe game. She's playing it real safe,
which is smart up until it comes time to do something else. And I think when it comes time to do something else, she will. It's just it's not time yet.
Do you think she will be a target, or do you think she still has a chance to go deep?
I just don't get the sense that anybody sees her as a threat. So she's like doubly dangerous like that,
I just don't. I'm trying to convince myself that it's not going to be
her winning.
Yeah, because I get the whole Ben vibe from her. They're not the same at all, but I get, and it sucks because I don't know. I liked Ben, I guess, at a time. I never liked Kellyn, but I don't want to feel like I know who the winner is this early on.
Right, and it's looking like.
But But there's a lot of contenders.
Yeah, but it's looking like it's going towards the predictable people. The people before the season even started, everyone could just point at and be like, well, that person's going to win. And there's
That's
two
the
that.
other reason I don't want to go with her, because everybody's like, oh, Kellyn's the one. Kellyn's this. Kellyn was so good at that first puzzle, so she's going to win.
Well,
And
there's
I
two.
just.
There's two. It's Kellyn and Wendell. And those are the two that everyone pointed out from the start. And those are the two that are going to be there at the end. So it's a little lame at this point that it's that predictable before the season even starts. But
I want those Malolos to get in there and mix it up. Come on, guys.
They're screwed.
Yeah, they might be screwed.
But this reminds me, like our pre-season assessment, right? I talked a lot about. I spent a good amount of time talking about how the people featured in the preseason promos, you can guarantee most of them are going to go far into the game.
I don't remember who it was.
That's still holding true.
Who was in it?
It's Dominique, Kellyn, Wendell, all in
the VDs.
Angie and Chris. Yeah.
Not a single Malolo.
Right. And so the only exceptions to that rule that I can remember right now, it was they featured Jacob and they featured Stephanie. But other than those two, those are the big characters of the season. So
yeah, but you say that, but we're 6 votes in. I would have been dumbfounded if you told me at the beginning of the season that Brendan, maybe not Stephanie, but Brendan and James would be gone pre-merge. So who's to say with the way they've been editing lately that Kellyn's not gone next week, or Bradley's not gone next week, or Dominic's gone next week? That's how this season's been going. And the Jeff Probst interview today said something happens next week that's going to change the entire course of the game. Probst says stuff, but
it's hyperbole. Ben still ends up winning the season,
Yeah.
I know. The outcome's the same, right?
Not always.
My point was, though, what the hell was I thinking when I picked Brendan? Because I spent the whole freaking time talking about how
you didn't want to pick Wendell.
Right, but I should have.
I should have too. The only reason I picked James is because he was the first interview I watched, and I was like, I really like him, and so I just stuck with it.
Right. I mean, yeah, I spent the whole time talking about people featured in the promo are the ones that you should pick. If you're going to make a winner pick, make sure it's one of those people. That's a bottom line. And Brendan wasn't in those previews. James was nowhere to be seen in those previews. Chelsea, nowhere to be seen in those previews.
Chelsea's still there.
Yeah, but we totally disregarded everything we talked about the whole podcast leading up to that point, and I feel so stupid for doing that.
It's because you don't want to believe it's that easy. Just like right now, I don't want to believe it's going to be Kellyn at the end. And maybe if I liked her, and people compare her to Aubrey and stuff, but I loved Aubrey. I thought she was robbed. I loved her the second time around. I will always love Aubrey. Something about Kellyn just rubs me the wrong way. It's like the Chrissy thing.
I can see
that.
I
don't like it.
And Aubrey was an underdog like the whole game, though, and I think it's a huge component. We always root for the underdog. We never cheer for the people on top.
Part of me thinks if Kellyn were to become an underdog, I'd be happy about it.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Well, according to you, it's not going to happen. That she's going to ride it to the end. So I don't think I have to worry about it.
I don't think that doesn't mean she'll never be down on her luck. I just think she'll win.
I hope not.
Actually, I mean, if it's her and Wendell could beat her. It's totally true.
I don't see how that ever happens.
Could happen.
Maybe.
They're both original in the VD.
I just want, all I want is for a couple Malolos. I want when they get to the merge for those Malolos to be there and mess things up. Yeah. Because there's going to be at least 4 of them there. If they merge, not this next week, but the week after. There will be 4 remaining Malolos.
Yeah. At least 4. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. Anything else? Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it.
Yeah,
you got anything?
I can't really think of anything else. I think I've even hit the stuff I almost forgot to hit. So
very good. All right. So who is your MVP for this episode?
Ooh. I'm gonna pick Wendell, just because I feel like he was kind of invisible for most of the season, and he kind of really came out on top as someone to watch out for without being obvious or in your face about it. He's just subtly good.
Yeah, no, that's a good MVP for sure. I might go with Michael just for that like ice cold move or like that ice cold vote, you know.
Yeah.
They even said like Michael and James weren't that close even though they were on the same tribe together.
Yeah.
So Michael had no real allegiance to James, and he just sort of did what he needed to do to survive this vote and not just that, it's like he's playing pool where you like when you make this shot, you're setting yourself up for the next shot. So it's like James in the corner pocket and setting myself up to possibly knock out Desiree or Angie next vote. So I like what Michael's doing. I'm still rooting for him as the underdog. He's got a long road to hoe. Road. I still don't know what that's saying.
Road to hoe, that's right.
But he's got a shot because if he can survive the next couple votes, he's going to float in there and Navidi's going to start eating themselves alive like we discussed.
I hope. That's my hope.
Sweet. Okay. So, yeah, your prediction for next week.
I honestly can't see that tribe winning, you know?
Yeah, they're probably going to lose again, huh?
I mean, it's the Malolo low.
The low Malolo.
I can already see what Josh and Rob are going to name the evolution of strategy, the first chapter, the Malolo low. Because it works on so many levels. But I can't see them beating those other two tribes. I really can't. I mean, maybe Navini loses and they go for Libby or Bradley. I don't know. I'm gonna say Bradley. I'll say maybe they pull out burning the flag works, and I don't see Seabass and Chris's and Wendell's tribe losing at all. So I think the Navidi tribe will lose, and it's not a misdirect, and Bradley goes home.
Very good. Yeah, I agree with you that Chris and Wendell and Laurel's tribe is just solid.
And Laurel, geez, yeah.
They're solid to the merge. I mean, they're stacked physically and they're so agile.
Yeah.
They're not dumb people. Like they're going to at least take second place in every challenge from here in the merge. And not just that, but we've gotten story and confessionals saying like Chris, like Wendell's like I bet on Chris every time. Like he's been an absolute animal in the challenges. Like there's no way we're gonna lose, and I think that's gonna remain true.
Yeah.
So totally agree with you there, and I will stick with my original prediction that Bradley is a misdirect, and this week Dominic set up Libby as the tee off, vote. So Libby
another
Malolo, Libby's going home. Yep.
Crazy. Well, they still would have 4. So that's enough to float around and do some damage.
Right. So yeah, they'll be down to 13 people. Where will they merge at, or what number do they merge?
Well, the Legacy Advantage said you can use this at 13. So that implication is that that's when they merge. And you have a final 3 and a jury at 10. That's what they did at Second Chances. Did they do that at Game Changers too? Anyway.
Okay, you think there's only one more vote before the merge then?
Yes, I do.
Oh. Okay then. Wow. All right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, sounds good. Any other thoughts on the episode or?
No, it was a good episode. I didn't care for the outcome, but it was good.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It was good Survivor for sure. Okay, that'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom. Go ahead and give us a click on the subscribe button. Give us a little thumbs up or a comment, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Bye.